Welcome to the video. Geraint Thomas versus Lance Armstrong versus Chris Froome. Who is faster? Let's just hypothetically say you put Geraint Thomas. If I made this video a month ago, people would have laughed. But reality is, these guys are way faster than Lance Armstrong guys. The times they're doing is insane. They're so much faster these days. They're training with power meters. They just got more advanced methods on and off the bike. And so here we see Geraint Thomas ripping up. This is the Tour Alps 2017. And for those people out there who don't use power meters, this video might not mean much to you because you don't really understand what human physiology is capable of producing. So you have here Kenny Ellison, who's a pure climber. Right? This guy's a pure climber. This guy on the left here is attacking. He's going to attack the SkyTrain. That looks to be... I don't know who that is. That is not Pierre Roland. Someone else. I forget who that is. Awesome credit. I don't know who that is. If you know who that was, down below, let me know. But look at that. Look at that. Watch him blow up. Watch him blow up in a second. You know what I mean? So you can already see he's blowing up. He's looking back. That's the first mistake. He's looking back and then looking down like that. Look how much he's straining. So this guy, this Cannondale rider, is a professional rider. We'll get back to that in a sec. Anyway, here's Lance Armstrong. Here's Lance. Now, Lance would get dropped by Geraint Thomas and Chris Froome today. Even Lance admitted the other day that Quintana is way faster than Lance is. And Quintana got smashed by Froome and even Daniel Martin and those guys. So Lance Armstrong, now I'm not trashing anybody in this video. I'm just talking purely about watts per kilo. I'm not saying... I'm a fan of everyone. I like watching pro cycling. I understand the game. I understand it's not to be taken too seriously. That is entertainment. It's sport, and people take stuff to win. They take stuff to write these watts. I get it. I'm not one of those idiots who go, "Oh, Chris Froome got caught with an asthma puffer." I don't like. Like what? Like duh. Like everyone's got asthma at 450 watts. Like people take shit, man. Get over it. People take shit to win these big races. All sports, soccer, swimming. None of your Olympic swimming champions are clean, all right? None of your running marathon champions are clean. None of them. Not a single World Cup soccer player on big money is clean. Everyone's taken some sort of pharmaceutical at some level to do their job. That's what they're paid to do. Look at the high cadence there. Look at the cadence of Lance versus Ulrich. So you can see perfectly. And Ulrich changed gears after that. He saw Lance overtake him. This is how, even if Ulrich was in the peloton today, he would get dropped so hard in the Tour de France. Look how hard Lance dropped him in this TT. Geraint Thomas and Chris Froome would smash him. I mean, Chris Froome here. Chris Froome, and watch Chris Froome drop Quintana in a second. And Richie Porte and Chris Froome smashed Lance's time up the Col de Moladone. Rominger had the time up there. Lance then got the time. And then Chris Froome and Richie Porte come along there and smashed it. And people say, oh, but these days they don't climb the Tour de France climbs as fast. They do. They do. But then again, you can't compare. You can't really compare it. Like when Lance said the other day, Quintana beat his time up there. You can't really compare it because the climbs are ridden at different styles. What you can compare, what's absolute, is a training time climb. So if you go to the Madone and compare your time to Lance, then that shows you. So Lance knew if he did such and such a time, he's going to win the Tour de France because that meant his watts per kilo was sufficient. So Chris Froome and Richie Porte came along and smashed it and then put up on Twitter. I mean, I would say that's probably a bad idea, but it just shows to go how fast these guys are these days. The current generation of pro cyclists is so much faster than 10 years ago. So much faster than the Lance era. The Lance era was slow. Lance was the best of the best, all right? And now you got Richie Porte, who is a good rider, but he's not Chris Froome level. You got Richie Porte can beat Lance Armstrong now. You know what I mean? Even Richie Porte is faster than Lance Armstrong. And Richie Porte is a big dog rider, but in terms of winning big races, like the Tour de France or the Giro, he's not even there. But so he's better than Lance Armstrong. So it's just so hard now to be a good rider. It's just so, the competition is so, even Mikel Landa is better than Lance Armstrong. So these days you could probably get about, Lance would probably finish maybe top 20 in the Tour de France. This is Lance in his peak. Lance maybe finished top 20. these guys are just so much faster. They're so much faster. So that's just how it is. So look at this. Look at the where'd that Canada rider go? You know what I mean, that just goes to show what's going on there. All right, and this Michael Lander's got his mouth shut almost. Watch this, and he's got full leggings on and arm warmers. Like, how do you go that quick with full clothing on? It's crazy, isn't it? So now watch this. So he's basically got training clothing on, booties, leggings, in his easiest gear, big rig, big dog spinning. Look at this. Look at how relaxed he is. Look how relaxed he is, and he's just shredded that Canada right off his wheel, and he's not even puffing. He's not even rocking his body. He's looking around. He's like, "Yeah, you guys want to do a bit of a turn?" So Lance would have just gotten cooked these days, just totally cooked. Lance Armstrong is slower than Geraint Thomas in the time trial. He puts out less power. Team Sky way faster than US Postal. Astana's faster than US Postal. These riders are just better these days. They're better as Ock, Sheryl Crow, and some other dude I don't know. So yeah, this is how it is. Lance Armstrong would struggle in the Tour de France. But what hasn't changed is the cadence. Watch his cadence. Watch his cadence. Oh, he pulls his foot. But Lance, being Lance, doesn't give a fuck. Get back to the job. Lance could have kicked up a fuss and said, "Oh, someone fucked up the pedal." No. Lance doesn't care. He's just going to spin it. Look at the cadence. Look at that unbelievable cadence. Just spin, 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 spin. Watch this again. Watch this replay. Pop. And look at his reaction time. He's just, I don't give a fuck. He's just looking straight away where the pedal is. Straight away where the pedal is. Now, I don't understand why these guys use road shoes still. Why not use mountain bike shoes? Because if that was a mountain bike pedal, you don't have to look down, you just clip it in again. So road shoes offer zero performance advantage. I don't understand why. Because a mountain bike shoe and pedal combo can be just as light. I don't understand why they use a road shoe. It's just tradition, I guess. People say, like I get people out there go, "I can't produce powered mountain bike shoes." It's like, what? You pick up a Bont mountain bike shoe, it's stiffer than any road shoe out there. A Bont mountain bike shoe is stiffer than the latest Specialized shoe, road shoe. All right, so in terms of stiffness, they say, "Oh, but it's too small of a surface area." It doesn't matter. What matters is how stiff your shoe is, and if it fits you properly. So I'm not sure. This is tradition. But look at this. This is Tommy Volkler. Good old Tommy Volkler. Little Tommy Volkler. Look at it, rocking all over his bike and it's getting about to get passed by Froome. Even Contador. Contador smoked Lance. And look at Contador in the Tour de France last year. Just couldn't keep up. Couldn't keep up. So that's just these days, man, they're so fucking fast, man. The power they're putting out is incredible. That's why everyone hides their power meter data, because it's like mutant levels. It's mutant levels. I would hide my power meter data too, because it's pretty obvious what's going on. But yeah, it's amazing. Even Rodriguez, probably be about Lance level. Look at this cadence, man. Look at that cadence, just dropping Contador. Contador's out the saddle, sprinting, looking over his shoulder, going, "What the fuck's going on here?" And look at that gap. Look at that fucking gap there, man. Look at that gap. Look at it. That's the sort of gap I put into Weekend Warriors at Norton Summit. That's insane. Look at the gap, man. Look at that gap. That cadence. It's like an e-bike. It's not, but it looks like an e-bike, but it's not. It's crazy gapping. That's cadence right there for you. That is cadence. And look at the cadence again here. Look at Pozzovivo, Lander, and Lander's in the drops, man. He's just not even taking this seriously. He's just in the drops. He's waiting for Geraint Thomas to come across. Pozzovivo, pure climber. And these guys are like 10, 20 kilos heavier than him, bridging the gap effortlessly. Watch this. There's an attack. His starting rider's popped. And Lander's just sitting up. Look at the posture of Lander. Pozzovivo's all out the saddle. And Lander's just like doing it easy. And this is a fast climb as well. So the fact that they've put into this much gap into those guys behind who are swapping off turns, pulling turns, is pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive. 4K to go. They've attacked with 4K to go. So it's probably about 10, 11 minutes to go on that climb, and they're just going so fast. But Mackelland is waiting for Geraint Thomas to come across. They're pretty awesome, don't they? And all these guys are getting high carbohydrate. This is all high carbohydrate fuel. This is pure carbohydrate here. This is carbs for the win. And you can tell Mikel Landa's doing it so easy because he's out the saddle, just sort of cruising. He's just waiting. Look at that guy in the back, the AG2R rider. He's all over his bike. That guy's struggling. You can tell by how relaxed someone is. If you've done a few races or you've ridden a few 100,000 you can easily spot a rider's posture and if they're going full gas. So Positivo's almost on the limit. He's got his mouth right open. Mikel, look at me. Look at Landa. Look how relaxed he is. He's looking back slowly. He's hurting a little bit, but he's breathing, but he's not hurting like the guys behind her. So he's just waiting. And watch how we'll get in a second. Let's have another look at Lance. All right, look at this. Look at the speed of Lance, and that's Ulrich behind. So Ulrich and Lance would be bottle carriers. If Ulrich and Lance were at the Tour de France in peak form, 2018, they would be bottle carriers at Team Sky. They'd be bottle carriers. They'd be bottle carriers at Lotto, Jumbo Lotto. So it's incredible, isn't it? These superstar names today would be nothing. In the terms of the hierarchy of professional cycling, you'd be delisted as a bottle carrier. Backup support. You're basically there to give someone a spare bike if they have a crash, like GC support. That's how fast these guys are today. It's incredible, and you can all base that purely on that Col de la Madone, the Madone time. That's the pinnacle of cycling. Your time up the Madone shows everything, your watts per kilo, and so that's everything. Because you can't compare outdoors times, because that doesn't mean anything. Because the races were different pacing, different weather, different strategies, different tactics, just totally different. All you can compare is the time in climbing, in training, solo time, because you got drafting in the race and stuff like that, so you can't compare the times. That's why Philip Guymon's times are pretty suspicious, that he can ride that quick up some of those climbs in California, but in racing he couldn't. Like, he's faster now in training than he was in racing. It's like, what? How do you go faster by yourself up a climb than when you're in a race, drafting off people? It doesn't make sense at all. And then he's given Fabian Cancellara crap about having an e-bike, and then on Instagram the other day, he's doing selfies with Fabian Cancellara. So it's like, what are you doing? But Philip Guymon's book was good to read though. Gave some good insight on how disposable we were. But I didn't like how he dogged in Tommy Danielson, who was the reason that Gaimon got a contract in the first place. That was pretty ungrateful, I found. But a good book to read. But I definitely feel a bit of first world problems in that book. So here we have Froome again, dropping the pure climbers. Quintana, pure climber. Rodriguez, pure climber. Chris Froome, just spinning to win. That high cadence. Just getting it done. Rodriguez, Valverde. Is that Valverde? Yeah. Valverde dropped. Valverde's a gun. If you're dropping a Valverde, look at that. Look at that. They're dropping the pure climbers. He's probably like 15 kilos heavier than these guys. Quintana's trying to bridge the gap. Amazing athleticism. Amazing. And here we go back to Froome. Ulrich and Lance. That cadence of Ulrich. This is a good comparison, isn't it? High cadence versus low cadence. So Ulrich was as fast as Lance, probably faster. Actually, I would say Ulrich was faster than Lance, but his coaching advice made him lose every time against Lance, because his coach says you got to grind, you got to churn out a big gear. But Lance's coach, Dr. Ferrari, says no. You got to reduce metabolic waste products, metabolic fatigue products, and spin at least 90 to 110 cadence. So whilst Ulrich had a bigger motor, Lance had a better strategy, and that cadence was just a game changer, wasn't it? So always listen to Dr. Ferrari. Always listen to Dr. Ferrari. Don't listen to your dumb coaches. Always listen to Dr. Ferrari. Always listen to Dr. Ferrari. Dr. Ferrari says high carb, low fat. Dr. Ferrari says spin to win. Dr. Ferrari always right, and we see it again today. Dr. Ferrari was the founder of a lot of today's amazing performances on the bike. Cadence, carbs. Same with running as well. Bring your cadence up as a runner. You'll have less injury, better speed, at the same given heart rate, same given cardio output. So cardio input rather. So you've got Lance, look at that face, oxygen, breathing in, always have your mouth open. You burn more fat. You see so many people out there on the bike, and me and Natasha cruise around, we pass people who've got their mouth closed. It's like, if you want to burn fat, open your mouth. Get a fat mouth, open your mouth. Always keep the mouth open. Breathe it in, breathe it in. Be like a pro rider. I don't want to be the pro rider, but do you want to get lean? Okay, open your mouth. Keep your mouth open, breathe through your mouth, and always sip your water bottle so your mouth doesn't get too dry. Otherwise, you get cavities. Cavities can form in a dry mouth. You're getting all the tips here today, aren't you? You came here looking at Geraint Thomas, Chris Froome, Lance Armstrong, and getting dental advice. All right, so watch this. So Mikel Landa, his job is to sit on Positivo, and Positivo knows that. So the Positivo is like, okay, I understand those team tactics. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to keep pushing anyway. So Positivo, the consummate professional there, just not playing mind games or whatever. He's just like, okay, you're going to sit on, I get it. That's your job. I'm just going to, Landa's taking a turn on the front. So, and that's not a bad idea to do, because then that keeps Positivo, in the mood to keep working as well. So Positivo understood it. He didn't have a hissy spit. I've done some training rides with these 20-something kids these days, and the egos on some of them, it's hilarious. They're so easy to crack. They play a few games with them. So they're working together well here in the end of a little bit. But Landa does have a job waiting for Geraint Thomas. So we'll see what happens. They'll be communicating on race radio. What's going on? So you can see the positives. Even Positivo, he looks quite uncomfortable on the bike, doesn't he? He sits real forward on that saddle. He doesn't look comfortable at all, but it's not slowing him down. He's one of the best climbers in the world. He's got his earpiece taped in there. Landa's got his earpiece in there as well. So getting some advice back from the team car. Not even super lean is Landa. I could get Landa even leaner than that. Landa doesn't look like a full pro. He's a pretty heavy sort of dude. I could get him way leaner. I'd get him Froome lean. And so here we've got Froome. This is Froome. So this is 2012. Well, he's dropping Cadell. He's dropping Nibali. He's dropping Wiggins. Look at Wiggins in the saddle and Nibali in the saddle spinning. Cadell's out the saddle grinding. But we knew that Cadell was going to get dropped that year, because you can't grind against spinners. You will get dropped. If they're the same fitness as you, or a little bit less, they will drop you eventually, because you'll produce so many fatigue metabolites. And look at Wiggins, just drafting, spinning. And so at the end of the day, Wiggins and Froome would have had a lot less fatigue metabolites than Cadell Evans that time, because Cadell was grinding a bit, and Froome and Wiggins were spinning, and in a stage race, that really adds up. This looks like really old footage, doesn't it? But it's not. It's 2012. It's amazing. Just a few years how things have changed. So Wiggins, what's going on here? Who we got? We've got Wiggins. This is where Chris Froome's waiting for Wiggins. This is where Chris Froome needs a mirror on his bike. Get a little cat eye BM45 mirror on there, and so you can just pace a lot better. So we've got Jürgen Rollins, I think is that. And we've got who else we got there? Looks like Nibali, the BMC rider. Who was it? Who's that? TJ, maybe. So Nibali getting a slap on the arse on the Tifosi. You got the Scream mask. Wiggins is like not really enjoying the day. He's dropping the wheel. This is where Chris Froome needs a mirror. He really needs a mirror. Chris Froome's got his hand off the bars. That's how good Chris Froome is. And watch little Tommy Volkler. Here we have, looks like Santiago Botero in the BMC kit. Fronac. We have Zabriskie, Armstrong, Vinokurov, Voigt, Cancellara, Popovic, Bodrogi, Hincapie, Gaudiano, Carpets, Vladimir Carpets. You can see here Botero, who was the gun back in the day, will get smashed today, just grinding too much. The Colombian. He used to do laps up and down the airport base, the army base in Colombia, because it's too dangerous to ride anywhere else. So he used to do laps on this like 5K circuit, up and down. So no wonder he was good in the head, because he could do all that boring training by himself and then come to the racing scene and just be so motivated to perform, because he was training at such a boring place. But it shows a lot about the mentality. If you can train on a 5K loop as a pro cyclist, and be that successful, you definitely got a strong head. You definitely got a strong head. Lance Armstrong, co-fittest rider. His team ditched him in 1996 when he had cancer diagnosis. They ditched him, and then Lance came back as the best ever Tour de France winner ever of all time. He's like, fuck you guys then. So Lance got burnt by the system, but then played the system. Look at Ulrich's legs. Lean. So legs are genetic. How lean they are depends on your diet. Definitely, if your diet makes your legs lean. But in terms of muscularity, that's genetics. That's genetics. So we got. So this video's been a bit chopped up, but this is Lance about to pass and overtake, and Ulrich never catches up. Ulrich never catches up. Number one, look at that picture. Lance is all over the bike as well. He's rocking a lot. So you don't have to be dead still on the bike. But very, very interesting. All right, so here we go. Geraint Thomas is about to launch. Watch this. I've ridden with Geraint Thomas a few times, and I found him to be quite approachable, quite friendly, and very, very fast. I mean, I've seen him. I was doing 450 watts one time up Norton Summit, and just trying to catch back on them. They're just launching, man. Geraint Thomas was just launching. It's crazy. All right. Well, you can just tell as well by Geraint Thomas's cadence that he's doing it pretty easy. He's just soft pedaling. It's pretty impressive to be soft pedaling in a peloton of these riders, and these riders are the best in the world. Tour de Alps, all the best climbers go. All right. So Lander and Pozzovivo working together, getting it done. And Landis is still mixing it in the saddle, out the saddle. People often say, well, what's the best to climb in the saddle, out the saddle? Well, if your body mass index over 21, you're better off being in the saddle. If your body mass index is under 21, then you can spend more time at the saddle. Like Contador used to climb out the saddle, Pantani. All these guys who had a low body mass index, you can get away with more at the saddle, but generally in the saddle is more efficient. Why is that? Because it recruits less muscle fibers. And if you're getting less muscle fiber recruitment, then you're generally going to have less fatigue metabolites and a little bit lower heart rate for the same given workload. How does that exactly work? I'm not too sure, but experiment is just go and ride out the saddle up a 10-minute climb and see if you can stay at the saddle for 10 minutes. It is good training though. It is good training. So if I'll often do a workout where I just ride out the saddle for as long as I can, that maybe 300 watts just out the saddle, and it definitely gets the legs going. So cycling is such a good thing for getting fit, such a good thing for weight loss as well. All our people coming up to Thailand, our event, just get so lean. The weight loss transformations I've seen has been insane. So here we go, he's Froome in the attack. All that cadence in the saddle now. Generally you want to attack out the saddle, but it depends on the situation. You want to be careful your chain doesn't slip, otherwise you're going to crash. So Chris Froome, Nibali, and who's that Tinkoff rider? That is, what's his face? Looks like Valverde there. And here we go. Who's that in the yellow jersey? That's Wiggins. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. That's Froome. Oh, Froome on the front, just stringing them out. That's Chris Froome. What colour bike is that? It's like a blue bike. No one wants to pull a turn. But Froome should have done a Wiggins Diablo on that climb. That would have been impressive. That Diablo climb, the Tour of California, when Wiggins just got in the front, it's lit the pace up. That was impressive. I think Rowan Dennis won that day when he was with the Garmin Sharp. Testa della Corsa, meaning the front of the course, front of the race. And these guys are just, Pozzovivo's seat height looks so low, doesn't it? Just goes to show you that seat height, close enough's good enough. And there's room for individual variances. But Pozzovivo always, no matter what bike he's on or team he's on, he's always has that pretty low seat height. Got a couple of Cannondale riders here. Someone's going to start the break, and then Geraint Thomas is like, yes, I'll get on that. And watch this. Geraint Thomas is like, yeah, all right, here we go, boys. It's time to party. Watch this. So Lander and Pozzovivo are working together. Obviously, Brailsford or whoever's in the Portal, whoever's in the car, is giving Lander the orders to work with Pozzovivo. Here we go. And almost going so fast, almost crashes into the motorbike uphill. Look at that launch, man. Look at that cadence. 1, 2, 3. Still cadence calculator. We'll do a cadence calculator if we can. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 15. So we've got 15, 60. It's about 95 cadence. So it's on about 95 cadence. So someone said that Geraint Thomas is a grinder. He's doing about 95 cadence right now. So yeah, the hour record is about 105 cadence. Look at he's flying. Wow, he's bridged that gap so quickly. That's impressive, isn't it? That's impressive. Bridging the gap across no man's land up a hill. A fast climb, bridging it. And not even Ulrich can kind of bridge this gap. You know, look at the cadences there, differences there. But Ulrich, see how he's changed his gears? Remember before in the video where he was grinding a bit more? So he saw Lance come past and he's spinning more. Look at Lance's cadence. That's easily got to be 100. Easily 100, maybe 105. All over the bike, all over the bike. Wiggle, 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 waggle. All over the bike. That full natty bra. But we can't see, you know, I can make the jokes and stuff, but we know everyone. If you're riding that wattages, you ain't doing it on bread and vegan jam. You got some extra assistance going there. And again, like I said at the start of the video, this is how it is. 52 k an hour time trial. Vinokurov drops Vinokurov 20 minutes 53. Wow, so it's tight. It's very, very tight. Very, very tight time. Lance's helmet off straight away. Doesn't like the helmet. Dura Ace brakes, the old 7800. Just to the line of that mouth, just sucking the oxygen. You can see his diaphragm going in and out, in and out. That's what it looks like. Cycler's got a fat belly because the diaphragm's just going in and out. So diaphragmatic breathing's what you want to have. Look at Froome's belly, in and out, in and out. So 1 in, 2 out, 1 in, 2 out. And again on the attack, dropping. Port does a good job there. Port just drops back straight away. Lets him go. And Chris Froome with that famous, looking at the stem. It's incredible how fast Chris Froome can ride with that amateur style of looking down, looking up, looking down, looking up, looking down, looking up. I mean, I've tried doing that, and it's so hard to breathe. I don't know how he does it. I'm not sure why he does it. But it's either way, it's impressive what he does. And Chris Froome, yeah, all the crap he endured this year, the Tour de France, all that social disapproval every day, but he still didn't crack emotionally. It's pretty fantastic. It's pretty fantastic. So Chris Froome, hats off to you, mate, dealing with all the haters. Dealing with all the haters. And the two Movistar riders there. Who is it? Is that Valverde and Quintana? And who is that lady on the left there? Is that, I think it's Chris Froome's wife. Is that Valverde? Yeah, it was Valverde. Wow. So here we go. So yeah, Geraint Thomas has made the bridge. He's bridging across. We'll wrap it up here with Geraint Thomas. Closing thoughts. And so he's just taking it easy now. Pozzovivo's sensed that the finish line's coming up, so he's just going to go for it. And Pozzovivo, you know, gutsy. You know, he really, if I was Pozzovivo, I would have just sat up. I would have sat up and let them do the chase, do the work. Because it's two sky riders, and 2 against 1, you're not going to win. So I would have sat up there and let the Sky boys take the lead. You know. But he did really well, Pozzovivo. Pure climber, pure climber, getting dropped by the GC riders. Mikel Landa has enough energy to still do a spin at the end. Geraint Thomas just spinning it up, spin, spin, spin. Really pushing the power now. Mikel Landa now is going for it. So, impressive ride by Geraint Thomas. So we saw last year that he had the potential to win the Tour de France. Easily. Easily. There you go. And that is how Lance Armstrong is slower than the guys today. Why is Lance Armstrong slower? It's too heavy.
carbs, carb the fuck up, motherfuckers. Carb the fuck up. Corn, rice, potatoes, yams, bananas, mangoes, dates, plantains, melons, blueberries, blackberries, mulberries. Get them motherfucking carbohydrates in. Go vegan, motherfuckers. Carb the fuck up, the fuck up, the fuck